It is a big show. We are recapping the Commanders draft.
I love Emmanuel Forbes.
And we'll be answering fans' questions.
And we get to watch film with someone very special.
I'm stepping out. It is players only.
Coach, always a pleasure to have you here, especially with these two young gentlemen. And I just wanted to say, man, congrats on the draft class. One of the things I thought you guys did a great job of drafting quality human beings. Can you talk about how that was a priority for you guys?
Well, the biggest thing more than anything else is they kind of fit the culture we're trying to build here. These are young men that are sharp guys, smart individuals, good people, but most importantly, good football players.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Fred, I know you're dying. You're frothing at the mouth.
I am.
To ask about the DBs.
Emmanuel Forbes. Well, you know what? First of all, Coach, great job on picking Emmanuel Forbes and Quan. Like, at the end of the day, could you tell the fans what they getting in these two players and why? Most people think you took two corners. I know you took a corner and you took a guy that can do a little bit of everything.
Yes, he can do a little bit of everything. And Quan's a heck of a football player. Played some very good football at the University of Illinois. Very disciplined football player, but has position flex. And what he can do for you is he can play free safety, be in the post, be in the half, be in the quarter, and keep the ball in front of him. If he comes down into the slot, he can be the nickel. And then last year he had to play some games at corner for the University of Illinois, which showed us his diversity, his ability to play different spots. But of course, your guy, Emmanuel Forbes, heck of a football player. A takeaway machine. When you study and watch his play, watch the way he does things, first and foremost, he studies his opponent, has a good understanding of his opponent, and anticipates very, very well. Tremendous ball skills, and a guy that seems to be able to see through the receiver to the quarterback and have a feel for when to make his move.
And Coach, one of the things you mentioned there is the flexibility of Quan, right? Yeah. What does that allow you to do in terms of the defense? Everyone's talking about who fits where. How do you kind of handle that?
Well, if you look at the things that we've done in the past, you see that we had Bobby McCain here, was a guy that played safety for us, then came down in the box and played the nickel position for us. Well, that's what you're getting from Quan. You're getting a young man that can play deep, can play the half or the post or the quarter, like I said, but he can also rotate down and cover a wide receiver. So again, you never have to take anybody off the field. We can play our Buffalo, our big nickel, and have Cam Curl down in there with two safeties behind him. Now all of a sudden somebody comes in, they bring a wide receiver. We're not running guys on and off. We're set, we're ready to go, and we just keep rotating players around.
Coach, one of those positions that I thought that was going to be key for us to pick up, and just knowing how we're trending when it comes to some of the guys that we already have here, is the edge rusher. I knew he was going to probably, get a guy late somewhere around in the draft. And speaking of the two that we picked up, KJ Henry.
Commanders.
And my man Andre Jones Jr. Tell the fans how you see these guys fitting into our scheme of things.
KJ's a guy that can come off the edge at the same time. He can stand up being a 2-point. We do a lot of that now when teams come out and they come in a heavy package. 2 tight ends, 3 tight ends. Instead of, again, trying to figure out how to bring other bodies in, we have a defensive end that can get up in a 2-point, play like a 3-4 outside linebacker. He drops well in the coverage, but one thing he does, and don't sleep on him, is his pass rush. Here's a young man that didn't get a lot of credit. Why? Because of the guys that were lining up next to him in Clemson, but this is a guy that has the ability to rush. He's got a real nice long arm, and then he collapses it and comes underneath with a good counter. So this is a guy that's going to bring something dynamic to what we want to do on defense.
And even though not the biggest guy, got great play strength in the run as well. And Jones, I think, is an interesting guy too, Tan. I'm glad you brought him up, because he seems like a guy that is good at spot dropping, got nice long arms. Kind of like, how do you see him fitting in? Because I think maybe he could even play off the ball a little bit.
Yes, they did some hybrid things with him at Louisiana Lafayette. When you watch the things that he does, he's explosive, he's dynamic, comes off the ball very hard as a blitzer or as a pass rusher. But like you said, there is some versatility to his game where he may stack a little bit and play some inside. And again, this is a guy that we're going to be able to move around and do different things with.
And that's always exciting for the defense. And Coach, we can't finish this conversation without talking about the big nasties in the run game, right? You drafted 2 offensive linemen, Stromberg out of Arkansas. And then Daniels out of Utah.
Brayden Daniels, tackle Utah. Take command, baby, come on!
How do you see those two guys fitting in, right? Because I think you said Daniels is a tackle, and then Stromberg, I think, could come in and start for you right now.
He's a very bright football player, very smart, very intelligent guy. When he came in and sat down with our offensive coaches and EB, especially with Eric, and they talked football, they talked protection, he could regurgitate a lot of things that Eric said to him, but he also could talk about the things that they did, very knowledgeable in terms of that. And so that really impressed our coaches. When you look at what you're getting with Daniel, you're getting a guy that has the ability to be a right tackle, left tackle, or a guard.
Yeah.
So again, got position flex. He's young, and he's a guy that we can develop and work with over the next couple of years. We're not in a hurry. We don't have to force anybody out there. But if we do need him to play, he'll be ready as well.
Tremendous athlete, and I think that's probably what you're betting on there, if I were to guess. And then Tana, you were talking about that running back, man. You got a big old smile on your face, right? Guy that you got to buckle your chin strap for. What does he bring to this offense, Coach Christian Rodriguez?
He's a big physical guy. What he can do is he's a downhill runner. He's a one-cut guy. Put his foot in the ground and get into that crease and blow some things up inside.
Yeah.
And again, he has enough speed and quickness to bounce it outside and turn the corner. But we also like his ability to step up and become a pass protector. So if you get into passing situations, you got to throw the ball. You got to have backs that can step up and can block and can be a little bit of a threat out of the backfield.
Kind of a full, well-rounded back, Coach.
Yeah, very much so.
We was all thinking about getting a scat back, just knowing that we missing McKissick. But when y'all did that was like one of those, like, oh, okay, they showed us something different. But speaking of being a great protector, that's key. You know what I mean?
And now that we've talked about these guys, let's watch some film on them, Coach.
Okay.
Time to go inside the film room, presented by Amino. It pays to be healthy. All right, Coach, now I'm really excited because we get to watch all the film of these guys you just picked and are now new commanders. Let's start with our guy, Stormberg here. He does an excellent job. I think you see the intelligence, you see the physicality on the combination. Does a great job with the athleticism, getting to the second level. I mean, that's a really valuable asset.
And it is. And the smart thing about the way he played that was he used his leverage.
Yeah.
He was able to not just have to make a good block, but also position himself so that there's no chance this guy gets off and gets an arm on the guy to make a tackle.
Next guy here is your guy, man. KJ, 5th round pick. Here he is lined up as the spinner, kind of rushing over the guard. And you mentioned his pass rush earlier when we were talking, and I think you see a little bit of that here.
You do, but what you see is he learns to attack the edge. And there's a reason to stay square on this guy. So stay on his edge, stay on his outside shoulder. All right, make a quick arm over and then get your hands up. Very aware of the quarterback still having the ball in his hands.
Yeah, it just shows a nice athleticism and movement skill. Here he is on the edge here, Coach, kind of negotiating the chipper. And again, the movement skill kind of jumps out at you.
Well, what I like, again, we talked about this early again, his athleticism. Sell it upfield, show his speed, get this guy to turn his shoulder slightly, and now, look, he got the feel, he uses the spin. Again, awareness of the ball in the quarterback's hand.
He's lined up as kind of the field, nickel star player over edge, and which is a little bit different positioning. Watch him check the flat, and again, see the hips, see the footwork, coming to balance on an athlete in space.
And a very good athlete, again, sinking his hips, coming to balance, not getting himself shaked, and able to make the play.
This is this is a me kind of football player here. A guy that's going to buckle the chin strap, put the mouthpiece in, and this is one heck of a collision here by the running back, Chris Rodriguez, and it's a big collision. And as a DB, I'm not sure you like that too much, Coach.
No, safety, again, especially free safeties coming downhill to take on runners that have got about a 6-7 yards head start. That's a big deal. It really is. Big collision.
Plays on the ball, off the ball, good pass rusher, kind of multitude of roles. Here, I like him dropping into space, matching him back, makes a really nice tackle. How do you see him fitting in this defense?
Well, again, a little bit of a hybrid. Some of the things that Jack has done with the defense has that hybrid element. Teams come out and they come in 2 tight end, 3 tight end sets. Instead of having to rotate guys on and off, we can just go from our basic 4-man front to a 3-man front and play a 3-4 style of defense with the 2 defensive ends standing up.
And then our guy, man, Fred, you were talking about him, right? What is he? He's a bully, right?
He's a bully. And you want bullies on your offensive line. They set the tone for 4 quarters of football.
You might want bullies, but I want athletic bullies. And our guy, Brayden Daniels, is athletic. Watch him get out here in space and say, oh, you're a little guy? Let me just take you over here and just use the water.
Looking like Trent Williams right now.
He does flash, Coach. And so you think he could play left tackle because of that?
Yes, I think he can. He can play both tackles and guards. So again, this is a young man that's position flex. He's a young guy that's got some growing to do and some learning. And again, as he perfects his technique, his footwork, he's going to be a much better football player in the future too.
And I think you hit it there, Coach. A guy that needs to grow a little bit, but really a high athletic upside.
And what this shows you right here is really good awareness. Again, he's got a guy, keeps his shoulders square, shuffles down inside, passes him off to the guard, and comes out and picks up the looper on this stunt. This is good football right here. This is smart football, but again, good technique with the square shoulders.
And then, he doesn't do that all the time, but when he does it is special.
And that's what we talk about again. He doesn't do it all the time. As he learns and becomes more disciplined, he will be a better football player for us.
Coach, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully the peanut gallery wasn't too distracting for you.
They were good. A lot of good information, man.
I always appreciate you coming by, Coach. Thank you.
Time to go inside the numbers, presented by FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the Washington Commanders. And let's take a look at the numbers our draft picks will be wearing this upcoming season. Forbes right there, selected 16th overall, but he's going to be keeping his number 13 from his college days. And of course, these are the numbers you're going to want to go out, get your jerseys, and head over to Commanders team store in order to make that happen. Let's take a look at some of the more trending subjects during draft week. And well, KJ Henry's father, Keith, he is all prepared for his son to be a Commander. Logan, look at that. That jersey looks good on him.
His dad just had that in the closet, right? And you played with him, right?
I played with Jeremiah Trial, so I seen him rock that jersey. Way to go, Pop.
Set and ready to go. And all-pro cornerback Jalen Ramsey, a fan of Emmanuel Forbes.
Well, you know, real recognize real. You know, that's what I live by.
Yeah, game recognized game, right?
Yeah. And Andre Jones, he had to delay his press conference because he couldn't find a Commander's hat.
You said you're going to the store to get a cap?
Yeah, I was going to the store to get a cap real quick. I need about 10 minutes. I was like, we right down the street from the mall. I was going right there real quick.
He know good well he ain't gonna find no hat in New Orleans.
That's just like you trying to find a beignet in the DMV. It ain't gonna work.
We'll get him hooked up.
Yeah, that's right.
Time for our mission debrief presented by FedEx, where now meets next. And the mission was successful as Fred was out at the gold member party at FedEx Field on Thursday night after the Commanders drafted Emmanuel Forbes Jr. Now, he's a pick Fred has been predicting for weeks, really months. So let's see if Fred is still feeling it in this week's edition of Fred's Fired Up.
Welcome to Fred's Fired Up, and you know what I'm fired up about.
What are you fired up about, Fred?
I told you. Tell me what I'm fired up about, Fred. I'm about Emmanuel. Tell me what you're fired up about, Fred.
What do you say, Fred?
I told him we're going to draft a great corner.
And you've been telling him since February, right?
Emmanuel Forbes, just a bulldog. He's a Mississippi State bulldog. He's going to put that money right.
Who are you picking?
Emmanuel Forbes. But Emmanuel Forbes is still available at 16. And then, you know what? When you know something, you know it. And I feel good about it, and I feel good about what we done. And just wait.
And appreciate.
So I can tell you, I told you so after the season. This was going to make it real good. And guess what, Tanner? You went through the same thing he going about. They couldn't poke holes in our game, so they tried to poke holes in our frame.
Man, you gotta get something new. Something new.
So at the end of the day, y'all let all of that go. Don't worry about how big he is. If we wanted to go get a bodybuilder, we would have went to Gold Gym. We got a football player.
Tell him, Fred. Tell him, Fred.
I told you so. I told you so. And I tell you again.
He told you.
Fred's fired up, but really all of these guys have been fired up over the draft. And if you want to hear more about their takes on this, we'll go to our Command Center podcast. It is available now. And coming up now is Tana's Takes, and it's pretty fire as well. Here's a preview. This is Tana's Takes, where we get all fired up, or, well, I don't know. Depends what the peanut gallery has to say.
Depends on what
about
the haters got to say, you know. But it is what it is.
Fred's already got the fire out.
I think Forbes alone just brought our defensive back, our secondary crew up a little bit. King Kong and Godzilla.
Yes.
I'm a King Kong fan. I think LeBron James is King Kong of the NBA. This guy can't be stopped. It should be Fred and Tana Takes.
We had a good time. I'm going with Tana.
You can catch the full episode of Tana's Takes on Thursday. Now, in addition to Washington's 7 draft picks made over the weekend, the Commanders signed 12 undrafted free agents to their offseason roster. And we will get to see them next week when rookie minicamp kicks off on May 12th. And Logan, you went undrafted. Tell us a bit about this experience, and you can't dismiss this because a lot of these guys could be impactful potentially as well.
Yeah, I know that's a unique experience given the great lineage of draft history we have here. I mean, first round pick, second round pick, undrafted guys. So what they do, it's a really unique experience in the sense that as the drafts go and you get calls from teams saying, hey man, we'd like to draft you. Next pick, we're going to draft you. They don't draft you. And they get to the 7th round, they call you back and say, hey man, we didn't draft you, but we'd really love to be here, right? And I will say the one thing that I'm really grateful for is, Tanner, you talked about representation in the earlier meeting. My agent was awesome. He kind of set out a whole diagram, Venn diagram with all this string and stuff saying, these are the best fits for you. And I was able to say Washington or San Diego at the time. And Washington was the right fit for me. So I actually got to pick the team I got to go through and the best situation for me. So it was really, in some ways, this is better for guys, especially near the bottom half of that draft.
And it pays out. You're still with us.
Yeah.
You're still working with us to this day. So don't dismiss the undrafted now on Saturday. We had a huge draft party out at National Harbor. And look, it was on fire. The fans, you showed up. Here's a recap of how it went down.
Slides, camera, showtime.
Let us introduce the
16th pick overall, Emmanuel Forbes Jr.
That's what I'm here for, great turnovers to make the defense better.
Who are we?
We know we need them. We need them. I need to need them right now. Absolutely love the fans here. They love them.
Why not?
Burgundy and gold. I'm ready to rep it every day.
Now, it was a really cool scene down at National Harbor as fans. They were waiting for the opportunity to meet our first-round draft pick, Emmanuel Forbes Jr., as well as Jonathan Allen, the Burgundy and Gold faithful. They also got the chance to see Sam Howell and Jahan Dotson, and I chatted with them as they're heading into their sophomore season.
Jahan, Sam, here you are now a year into your life into the NFL. Tell me a little bit about what you have seen so far from how excited this fan base is for a new draft and for a new season.
Yeah, you can tell the excitement of the fan base just by being out here. I honestly feel the energy from all the roars and all the little kids going crazy. It's definitely pretty cool to see. It just makes me super excited to get out there on Sundays.
Yeah, like Jahan said, it's so cool to see all the support, and it just kind of it makes us want to go harder. We hope we see all the support in FedEx Field this year, and it's going to be a fun year.
It's exciting. It really is exciting. With all the things that we've been going through the last 4 or 5 years, or really since I've been here, to see that, I feel like things are starting to turn the corner. We're starting to get that gray cloud over us. And you can see it in the city, man. Guys are excited. People are excited to come out and support, hang out. You really haven't experienced this in a long time, so it feels good to see just smiles on the fans' face and just being out here with them.
You've had so far 48 hours to get used to a little bit of your new home. What has that 48 hours told you about what to expect in the upcoming months and season?
I'll just be ready to win games, honestly, and just go out there. I'm going out there to perform, and just have fun with my teammates.
All the fans had a great time that came out. And speaking of fans, congratulations to Jesse Williams playing Predict the Pick game perfectly, winning an autographed jersey from Terry McLaurin. Congratulations, Jesse. Time for our Field Pass, brought to you by the Washington Times. Let's now answer some questions that came out of the fan party. And the first question is about offense.
All right, so what differences are we going to see with the offense with Bieniemy running the show this year?
I think one of the things that I'm looking forward to seeing, he don't have to go out there and reinvent the wheel. You know what I mean? You have the talent. He don't have to go out there and do too much. Just use those guys for what they can truly do. And I think he might have more talent here than he had when he was over in Kansas City. That's just me saying.
Ain't no Mike. The wide receiver room is better. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a really dynamic group. And I think he does do a good job of speaking to skill sets. And that's like his philosophy, so I think he's doing a great job of that here.
And of course, we know what they have in the running backs, but they did say maybe the one tweak might be in the passing game, is how that might be adjusted just a little bit as well. So the next question from the event, it goes to you, Logan.
So Logan, here's my question. We drafted a center. What does that say about Chase Roulier? Talk to me. Help us out.
Rally captain with that.
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. I mean, I think obviously Chase has been a huge contributor to this organization for a very long time, but he's only played 10 games the last 2 years. And so as much as I want Chase to be healthy, and everyone here hopes that he will be healthy, I think you need to kind of prepare, have a contingency just in case that doesn't happen. Chase is expensive. Ricky would allow you to get a little bit cheaper, so I think Ricky's an excellent football player. Chase is an excellent football player. This is one of those kind of tough situations for the business, so we'll see what happens.
What do they always say? The best ability is availability. You have to be out there, of course. You don't want to see any player hurt.
Absolutely.
And Chase was absolutely fantastic when he's on the field. But competition, that's what it's all about. Our last question comes about the competition around quarterback.
With the new addition to Eric Bieniemy, how do you think the offensive scheme is going to work? And how Sam Howell's going to be used effectively?
Well, I think they're going to get the ball out of Sam's hands. All right, and one thing we didn't utilize last year a lot was the tight end position. If you want to keep a quarterback upright, you want to keep an offense moving down the field, tight end is your easiest throw. All right, that's where you can throw bad passes, and these guys have large catch radius. They can bring the ball down. And also in the Eric Bieniemy, look for spacing. The one thing he's going to do is challenge you vertically and horizontally, and he's going to find spaces to get these guys the ball.
We talk so much about the quarterback and not being accounted for in the run game.
Yeah.
And you fail to realize Sam Howell can get outside that pocket and do something with his legs. So that's going to be interesting too, and just to seeing how much they allow him to do that.
I I just noticed he just seems always calm. Like nothing seems to really rattle him at all. So excited to see how that plays out as the offseason programming does pick up. If you have questions, we won't always get them in person, but you can leave them in the comments because it's where Logan lives. He lives in the comments. We'll have a whole segment just about that. Do any of the Commanders' current draft players, they are asking, remind you of any past or present players that we picked?
I mean, this kills me. It kills my soul a little bit that I'm going to say this, but Emmanuel Forbes does remind me of Fred Smoot, as much as I hate that. So he does remind me of Fred Smoot.
Oh, look at Fred's face.
I know, look, he's over there laughing. But
don't tell that boy that, man. Don't tell him that.
I really didn't want to say that.
You can catch the full segment on our YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us for this edition of Command Center. We leave you with some of the best moments that changed lives forever.
Emmanuel, this is Coach Ron Rivera of the Washington Commanders. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You ready to play some football?
I'm ready right now.
You're going to be a Washington Commander. You ready to roll?
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
All right. Just want you to know we're going to pick you with our pick right here, okay?
That sounds good. Let's go.
A little anxious right now?
Yes, sir. Just excited.
You're going to be a commander. You fired up?
Yes, sir. Ready to go. You send a playbook this way, baby.
So you ready to go?
Yes, sir. I'm ready to do it. Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Nah, you've earned the opportunity, young man, so you just go make the best of this opportunity, all right?
Yes, sir.
The Washington Commanders select
Washington.
Emmanuel Forbes.
The Washington Commanders select Santana.
The Washington Commanders select KJ Henry, defense end, Clemson.
Washington Commanders select Chris Rodriguez, running back,
Oh, hey, before you go, make sure you like and subscribe our channel so you don't miss any content that we put out for you. And should you happen to miss last week's episode, it's right here.